Us. We had some music to get us going before we start. Can everyone hear me? Yes, brilliant. I'm so excited to hold this with you all today. If I'm looking up, it's because I've got you all on a screen here and then my training here. So if I'm looking in two directions, that's completely why. I can see a few more of you are jumping in now, but I'm so excited to share this with you. Pop your names, pop your like what you do in the chat so you can all get to know each other. I want you to use that chat as much as possible during the training today because what I'm going to do is I'm there's going to be questions throughout and I'm going to stop every so often to like look what you've put in the chat and to see like what you've put, if I can feed back to you with any like answers and all that jazz. Right, it's got a couple more people coming in. Let me just let them in. Admit. But yes, who is ready for today? Because I'm telling you, I am like times 500 million. So that is good. Right, let me share my share. I always like cross my fingers at this point, don't you? Because it's a little bit like, what is going on? Right. Let me put you all so I can see you all up here. Perfect. Right. Okay. Brilliant. So can you see my screen first and foremost? Excellent. Let me make this bigger. Sorry, I can't see the chat. And I do not want to miss anything that is happening. Okay, brilliant. So first of all, I've already said this, but absolutely like welcome to today. I genuinely like if you've been looking at my stories, if you've been like reading my emails, if you're already in my world, because I know like a couple of clients are here and they're going to be watching the replays as well. Like the excitement for these 3 days is like off the chart because this is honestly 100% everything I live and breathe. It's the whole get paid without trying is all about, sorry, I've got more people in the waiting room, is all about your work doing the work for you and you not having to like be on it all of the time because everything that you are in terms of your personality, your strengths, your authority, like why you're the one, all of that does the heavy lifting for you and it feeds into your offers, which is what we're going to be going into tomorrow, and then it feeds into your how you sell, your content, your messaging, like how you communicate with potential leads in the DMs. It all feeds through. And that is why we have to start on day one with the she's the one effect because it's integral to everything else. Everything else is built on that. So, like these 3 days, like I've just said, they're not about not doing bugger all work for your business. This isn't like sitting around and oh, I'm going to get paid for having a cup of tea and watching This Morning on the telly and all the rest of it. We're not expecting to get paid for doing nothing, but it is about activating that life of freedom where your authority does the selling for you and you get to live. So you're not chained to your laptop, you're not chained to your phone or Instagram or making content. You actually get to take whole days off. So I was talking to a client in my mastermind this morning and I was talking about something that she wanted me to look at for tomorrow. And she was like, but I'm taking the day off tomorrow and I'm spending it in the spa. So I won't get to that till Friday. Like that's the whole epitome of what Get Paid Without Trying is all about. We want you to be living your life because now, if you've been in my world a little while, you'll know I am all about authority. And this word can be like overused. We can see it as like people in authority and, you know, they're straight and they're stiff and all the rest of it. But your authority is just the power that you have. And it does start before you have to say anything because it comes out from your energy, your aura, your being. And that is part of what we're going to be digging into today as well, because visibility doesn't equal authority. So you can be everywhere. You can be on every platform. You can have like 10,000 followers. doesn't mean you're an authority. Doing more doesn't mean you're an authority. Getting likes on your post doesn't mean you're an authority and you're then getting clients. Like loads of my posts, like 20 likes on them. That's not much in the grand old scheme of things, because that is not what makes you an authority. Sorry, somebody is just trying to join. Authority is what you feel. It's felt by your audience, it's felt by your clients, and it is that presence that does the selling for you. So that is what everything comes down to when it is you selling. Now, I'm not going to go through my whole life story because lots of you will know bits of it already, but also those are the bits that really bloody bore me when I go to a training. I don't mean to be rude. They really bore me. But these are the parts that really make sense to what I'm teaching you about today. So I've blurred out all the faces. There's me in my little, it wasn't even a power suit. It was like a pretty dress, and I had a blazer on that day because it was official photos. But like, I was 20 years a teacher and a deputy head teacher. I got promotion after promotion after promotion. I was like the youngest year leader, one of the youngest key stage leaders. I became subject leader of bloody every subject under the sun. I led the subject leaders. I led the teachers. Then I went up to deputy head. Like, I constantly went through this journey in my career. Okay. And this, like, there's a pattern. Then I kind of had enough. And I loved teaching, but I didn't love being in that kind of, okay, well, what next? I did never wanted to be a head teacher. What next? It wasn't exciting me. So I started my business. And this was me. I like comfy spots to do the work, but this was also a photo opportunity. So I was like posting 3 times a day, genuinely. I was still doing like 9 till not quite 5, but like 4:30 daily. I had every offer under the sun, like how some people do still say this: have a low, have a medium, have a high ticket offer, then have like special offers. Like, I had them all. And I was constantly like trying to stand out, because that's what we all do at the end of the day, because we want to stand out. But I was trying constantly, and I did have clients. Are any of you in that picture? No, none of you. So I had clients. I had 3 different offers. I was making 1 to 2K months. Great. Okay, that's where I wanted to be. But it did all feel really hard. Okay, because I was trying to like fit into a certain mold of what I thought you should be. And I was doing what I heard that other people said you should do, and also what I saw other people doing, and lots of it. And I'm sure if you can all raise your hand, there's like, we've all done that. Okay. And I was exhausted half the time. And I left that job to be less exhausted. So something like had to change. And the commonality is this going to play because it's friggin' hilarious and it's really embarrassing. But I was always proving myself. This was one of the first reels I put out. And do you remember circa like 2022, everybody like pointed to the words that came up on the screen? Like, that was me. It was so embarrassing and it didn't feel natural to me. But at the same time, I did it because I thought that's what you had to do, because I was proving myself. But now, okay, some of you are in this one. I have like a maximum of 5 calls a week. I work with the dreamiest of dream clients that I would actually, I shouldn't really say this, work with for free because they're so amazing. I have like great high figure months and I am happier and freer than like ever before. And this video, oh, sorry, this video here was I took some of my clients up to London in the summer and we just had like a summer meetup for no particular reason. It was fun. This is what it's all about. I've been going to loads of industry events recently. I go to the gym, I have cocktails in the middle of the day. And this was the beginning of last week. I had like a Stripe payout every single day. This is from doing less than what I was doing before, because I've now got all the right things lined up. Okay. So I'm now giving you the pathway to create your get paid without trying life and business over the next couple of days. So, who is excited for that? Pop it in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. I'm ready, whatever it might be. Because I know that you all want more freedom. I know you want more dream clients in your world. I know you want that like white space in your diary. Yes, Nikki, where you could choose to work on your business if you want to, but equally, you could do whatever you want. You can go to more midday yoga, Pilates, whatever it is you want to do. You could go for lunches. You can have your nails done in the middle of the day. More joy plus more income. Okay. Yes, I love this chat, but also with less proving yourself, less hustling, that whole like hustle mentality, and less feeling like you're chasing clients. Okay. Just got somebody else joining. Let me. Okay. So this is the goal. So tech doesn't want to move. So buckle up because you are my authorities right now, okay? And this is where we're now going to dive into it. So, are we ready? This is the whirlwind. This is when you start, your energy just keeps going and going and going and going. And it spurts out all these like little pieces of you when you don't even realize it. That's what like storm energy, whirlwind energy, you being in your category one is all about. So, we are about to activate that, lovelies. Okay, so firstly, your day by day lineup, you'll know this already because you signed up. Okay, so today we are activating that she's the one effect. So we're going to be stepping into the identity, your identity that makes you the obvious choice before you have to say a bloody word, before without you having to prove anything. And we're going to be activating confidence, the conviction, and the authority that is going to change the way you lead, you sell, and you scale. Because when we've got this nailed, these two things become so much easier. Okay, so that's the plan. That's our day by day lineup. And I just wanted to introduce you to one of my clients, Jenny. So she had never signed through her content before she joined the Authority Mastermind. She since joining, she had two back-to-back months of like £11,000 cash, and she's on track for a six-figure year using these strategies and this framework that I'm going to show you now. So it works. Okay. Sorry. So it works. So right now, which of these would you say you identify with? Do you think you're blending in with content that sounds like anyone else, everyone else? And you could put like a 1, 2, or 3 or all in the chat. Do you feel like you're proving yourself by having to like do more, maybe charge less so people are more likely to pick you, bending your boundaries for your clients that you have, maybe reinventing offers every single like not just quarter but month because nothing feels like different enough or tangible enough or it's not getting picked up so you might feel like it's wrong. Which of those do you feel like is you right now? Like 1, 2, 3, all or none? Okay, B. Okay. So we don't want to be proving ourselves. Okay. So you might even be waiting until you like fully claim your bold category of oneself. You might like be waiting for more proof, like, oh, if I just sign one more client, I'll be a bit more confident. Or if I just fill X offer, I'll be a bit more, I'll put myself out there a bit more, but I can't yet. Or like you might be scrolling all the other, spending way more time on Instagram scrolling than actually doing any of your work because you're not trusting your own voice and your creativity. And you're staying in that, like what I call Miss Nicey Nicey zone, when you know that by staying there, you're diluting the power, the presence, the amazing offer that you actually have sat there waiting to put out. It just needs more you to sell it. Okay. So if you're feeling any of those as well, I can see quite a few in the chat. That's why it feels like an uphill climb to you at the minute. That's why it feels hard. Like you're busy because you're doing lots, but you're not magnetic yet, which is what is going to make it easier for you. So the first step in getting paid without trying is activating your she's the one effect. Okay. Because this is the identity that makes you the obvious choice for your client. So, what actually makes somebody the one? Like, we need to know what it is before we can like reverse engineer that for ourselves. So, what makes someone the one isn't about posting more. It's not about following trends to go viral and increase your followers, especially like jumping on trial reels, which there's so many people selling that at the moment. That gets you followers. It doesn't have you standing out as the one. It just gives you a bigger follower count. It's not about being in business. This is the one I thought that counted the most when I started, or even 3 years ago. Like, oh, I have to be in business for years, or I have to have worked with more clients and have more experience than others to be the one people go to. It's not about any of those things. Okay. It comes down to just four simple things. And some of these you might think, oh, that's obvious, but we're going to break them all down. So it's your confidence, it's your conviction, it's your consistency, but it's all of those from your edge, your standout edge. So it's confidence in your edge, conviction in your edge, consistency with how you show up in your edge. Okay. It's not, I'm not talking about consistency in posting and being online every single day. I'm not talking about like confidence in your reels. This is all to do with you absolutely knowing and believing that edge and that it's yours. Okay, so this is part of what your she's the one effect is, and we're going to be breaking this down. So, conviction is obviously the knowing your work works before you have to have proof. Because when you go into something, I've sold so many things that I didn't like. I hadn't run them through with somebody before. So, like, I've brought out a new offer and I haven't delivered that exact same offer before. So, I don't like have proof that it's going to work, but I know it's going to work because of the conviction that I have in what I've put in there. And I know that that is what's needed to get the result. So, it's really, and you can sell it better when you fully know and believe that your work works. Okay. It's the confidence. So confidence is the owning who you are, like not hiding away from it, not shying away with it from it. It's owning who you are, what you've created, like your offers. But to do that, you have to do the mindset work and release those beliefs that are keeping you still playing small. And one, you're never done with that work either. Because when I was at an industry event in London over the beginning of summer, we were doing a visualization and a belief came up for me. And I was like, oh, and I just suddenly, you know, and how these things work, a million things like interconnected between my mind. That's why I'm not doing this. And it was only something really small and it linked to proving myself actually. And I was like, oh, and I did the work to release it. So the mindset work is what's needed, releasing any of those beliefs that you've got to develop your confidence, um, so that you can own who you are. Your edge is what makes you you. Only you have this. Okay. Somebody else might have something similar, but it's not from your perspective. They don't have your presence, your personality, your experience with that. So your edge is what only you can bring. And that's why this is so important in your she's the one effect. And then your consistency is you fully embodying this identity, this whole person identity in how you lead, sell, how you innovate, including the behind the scenes moments when you're sat in a coffee shop and you're working and you are like, yes, I'm writing content because this is me. I know this is the identity that I lead. This is how I like speak to the person. Connor is mine behind the counter in the coffee shop. This is how I do this. This is when somebody says to me, what do you do? I am like, I embody that identity. You need that behind the scenes embodiment and consistency as well. So those are the four things. And when you embody these, that's when you stop blending in and you do start becoming undeniably the one to your dream clients. And that's really important because it's not the one to every Tom, Dick, and Harry online because we don't care about everyone in the nicest possible way. It's the dream clients that you want to work with. Okay. So at the moment, which of those four feels the strongest for you right now? Like knowing your edge, having the conviction in the work you do, what you do, how you do it, having the confidence to like own that online and doing that consistently. Like which of those, you have to pick one, feels strongest for you right now, and which feel okay, let's see the strongest coming in thick and fast. Conviction, you know your work. Yes. And I expected that answer because you are all great at what you do. You know it works. And that's the annoying thing because it's like, where are all my clients? Like, so I can have this life of freedom that I want because I've got this consistency. I like that. But it's these other things. So which one feels the shakiest? Pop it in the chat. I think I know what's going to come up, but let's see. The edge. Nobody can type quick enough. Okay, your standout edge. What's going to make you different, basically, and stand out from just another coach, service provider, virtual assistant, whatever it is that you do in your service? Confidence with the edge. Confidence. Oh, okay. I like this. So we're going to work on these. So that's what you need, what it takes to be the one. You need to be claiming your edge. Okay. But we need to know now where and how you actually can pull that out of you. Because there's no point in me just telling you the theory and then you don't know how to do it. Because, well, I say there's no point. I've been to many a masterclass where they would just tell you that. That's not me, it's the teacher in me. So we're not making up your edge and pulling it out of the sky. We're going to mine it out like a diamond, okay? Because the edge that makes you a category of one is already in you. And I know that's the cheesiest saying alive, but it is true. Okay. You already have within you your edge. And I will claim the fact that I have a zone of genius in it being able to pull this out of people because you can't see what you can't see. And so your edge, you might be sat there thinking, but I don't know what it is. We're gonna mine it out of you right now. Okay. So what we're going to look at is the diamond framework. Okay. So your edge is the culmination of these four elements, and it is what leads everything in your business. Okay. Because your edge is your presence. So the first element is like your past experience, your skills, your story. Now, you will have heard this before. I guarantee you will have heard this before. It's not like unique because it's kind of links to what your brand story is. But to pull out your edge from that, you really need to go like a layer deeper because everything you have done before this moment is part of your edge and what gives you authority. So the careers you've had, even like jobs you had when you were a teenager that you've overlooked. You know, if you've got a degree in something, if you've worked in a particular industry and you're like, you've worked for marketing agencies and now you do like online marketing, any specific skills you've got that somebody else might not have, even if it's something, let's just say you're a coach. So let's say you're me, okay? This isn't true. Let's just say I did burlesque dancing on the side, okay? How I wouldn't necessarily go on and talk, I don't know where this thought's come from, burlesque dancing, but what that does is I obviously would have an inner confidence, which then I can use that to pull that out from my clients. So it really is something that you can lean into, like skills, interests, hobbies, training, how you grew up. Yes, Nicola, me and my burlesque dancing, how you grew up. And most of you haven't pulled all of these out. You haven't mined them out. Okay. Now, when I say I want you to go a level deeper, I've just written it small in the corner because like I could go online and I did do this in the beginning and I talk about the fact that well I'm an authority because I was a teacher and I was a deputy head and I've done great in my career, but it's so much more than that. Okay? And I've pulled
Want me to cut
such
the skin off?
some of the things out, which
Okay.
I do. These add to my authority angle, my edge. So being a teacher, what did that mean? Like, not everything that it meant, but what did it mean for how I can help my clients today? It's my content reviews are like second to nobody else because I've got that teacher brain. I see people's blind spots because I used to do it for the kids. I'm able to pull out skills and strengths. I'm able to turn like somebody being stuck into success, like because I don't stop until I can. I model things. So it's not just telling, it's showing. Like, and then the deputy head, like, rather than just using that as like a surface level, oh, this is what I did. I led other leaders to succeed. So I know how to do that. I'm strategic, I'm analytical. My leadership style is with you, not top down. I friggin' hate that. And then there's parts of my story, which I've shared parts of it with you, about the promotions and the feeling like I always need to prove myself. I've talked about this in my content, like I'd go to like a room full of like women in their power suits, usually like grey or brown or black. And I'd be there in like a skirt or a dress, flowery, pink, bright colours, like not being the norm. So it's about going that level deeper and really thinking, okay, so this experience or skill from my life, what is it about that? First of all, is there anything about that that I can really pull out and that can be a part of my edge? So I'm asking you the question right now. Is there an experience, a skill, or everything I've just talked about that you maybe haven't like dug into enough? Maybe maybe you have referred to it, like I used to refer to being a teacher and a deputy, but like you've downplayed it, or you've not thought about why that adds to like why you. If you know one, pop it in the chat. But this is something that I really want you to dive into because these are the things that you need to pull out to then be like, okay, so how can I use this as my edge? Okay, I'll come back to the chat in a moment. So, past experience of skills. Now, personality and quirks. I couldn't think of a word for this, so I used quirks because these are the things that are going to make you magnetic. Okay. So this is the part that can get cheesy. And when I used to say to people, and I think to be honest, I said this to my first coach that I had, like, what makes you different? Why should people work with you? Because I'm me, because nobody else is me. And yes, that's true. But like, what are those things? So there are parts of your personality and the quirks that are going to make you magnetic to your clients. Ah, I love that, Nick. Thank you. Nick's one of my clients. Um, your humor, your style, your energy, like a specific interest or hobby, like let's just say I was a burlesque dancer, which I'm not. All those things that make you you, okay? What are those things? So for me, like, yes, it's wearing pink. It's something so silly, but it adds to my personality. I've had people send screenshots of when they've been out shopping before, people I haven't spoken to online. And so, oh, I saw this pink top, it was a top, in the shop and instantly thought of you. It's like something really little like that. But it's also, you want to let people know like what you're like. So you're human. Like I forget words mid sentence all the time. I lose track. I waffle. All of those things, lots of people would see as a negative, and they would like, oh, let me just record that reel again, or that story again, or that's not perfect. They're part of me. I'm like that in my everyday life. When you like sign to work with me, you are going to see some of that in calls, and I'll be like, oh, I've just completely forgotten my sentence, and it'll come back to me. It's those little things adds to you, and that's what makes you magnetic. And I will say this, and she is in here. When I met up with some clients in real life a few months ago, the biggest quote, the biggest compliment I could ever have is when they said, both of them said to me, like, you are exactly as you are in person than you are like meeting you now in real life. That is what personality and quirks. You want your audience to have an idea about what it's going to be like to work with you, besides the results. Because, thanks, Nick, because you, that's the person that they're buying into. Okay. And if sometimes you just don't gel with somebody or they're a bit serious or whatever, or you might like that. You need to show those things so they can make that like judgment for themselves. Okay. Then thirdly, we've got, oh no, sorry, question here. This is a great activity to do. What are three words that other people use to describe you? And I don't mean like people online. I mean friends, family, like people you actually know. What are three words that they use to describe you? Because that's going to help you. And if you don't know, and I've actually done this, I did this years ago. I reached out to loads of friends. I reached out to some people, like business people, like besties, but they weren't besties yet at that point. And I was just like, what are three words that you would use to describe me? And the first three words that come to your mind. And I've got them all still saved in my notes. I should have found them actually and put them on here. Because those are really good. And if those are what is coming across naturally or not because you're holding it back. Okay. So, what are three words that others use to describe you? And then, what are three words that you would use to describe you if you weren't worried about what other people might think? This is so important because this is like that belief, that conviction, that confidence piece. Like if nobody was watching, nobody was listening, nobody had a comment to say, what are the three words that you would use to describe you? And I want you, this is like a piece of work for you, but I want you to like then go into, do I show those? Look at your content. Look at yourself on a call recording if you've got one. Is that coming out of you? Okay. If not, why? Let's dig. I told you we're mining. We're mining for the diamond, which is you, your edge inside you. Okay. So then, like linked to that, I'm sorry, I thought I saw someone coming in there. Linked to that, what do others feel like when they are in your presence? So, do they feel relaxed? Do they feel comfortable? Do they feel in safe hands? Do they feel energized? Do they feel excited because they know they're going to have a frigging great time because you're there? Like, how do they feel? Do they feel a bit nah, because like you drain them? Hopefully not, but like how do they feel when they're in your presence, and how do you want to make them feel? Because this is really important. Because remember, I said like your authority, your category of oneness, your edge, what is going to have you standing out is how you make others feel through your content. Because we need to activate a feeling, which we will go into a lot on day 3, how you do that in your content. But how do you want them to feel? That's really important. Okay. And then where's the cursor gone? All right. This is, she's gone like flew through several slides. Bear with technical difficulties. Okay, so 64%, which doesn't sound like a massive amount, but it is when you put it into perspective. 64% of buyers, this is actual, I should have put the study that I got this from, but 64% of buyers say that they choose who to work with based on personality and shared values more than their expertise. I mean, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't just, work with somebody on the street because they like their personality. But if they were deciding between two people, the personality and the shared values would win the decision over the expertise if the expertise was like similar. But yet you might still be playing this part of you down because of fear of being too much. So this is why this is so important for you. 64% of your audience right now are going to make the decision. Yes, obviously, if you've got the right offer, if your content is activating them, but based on your personality and you and your edge. They want to get to know you. So let's show it to them. Okay. So perspectives and opinions. I mean, this is what it says on the tin. Okay. These are your opinions. They are your bold takes. They are the beliefs that you stand by. They are, they might be unpopular opinions, as in it's going to really cut through the noise, disrupt everything that's like the norm, and like have people waiting to see what you say next. But then they don't have to be like super bold and um like some people might be off put by them. It could just be something in your industry that like you just have an opinion about and you are happy to stand by that opinion. This is what people want to hear. They want to know like more about you. This is what gives you an edge and stops you from like just putting out more like of the same content. And actually, like it could be the same message as this person's over here, but because you've really stood by your opinion with that in that, or your perspective, or you agree or you don't agree with something, it's going to have it standing out. And it adds to your she's the one effect. And it doesn't have to be complicated. So these are just three examples that I picked from literally not far down my feed at all. You can tell because all the pictures are quite similar. So this was like the first slide of many. Like while others see their most authoritative self as like a boss babe power suit, slick back bun, sitting on a desk, crossed arm to look the part, I see it as, and it was a picture of me in like a big squirrely skirt, basically, because my opinion is there are so many people, and actually, I wouldn't work with these people because of my preferences. That are like, here I am in the like expensive clothes and the power suits and the this and the that, but I don't see that as being authoritative. It's so much more. So I just, it's not controversial massively, but it's my opinion and I stood by it. Okay. Then this one was a vulnerable post. Okay. And I led into it with a great hook, even if I do say so myself. But basically, the perspective was like somebody can show up online and be one way. And it's not until you work closer with them that you realize the presence didn't match at all. So that kind of sums up everything I'm talking about here as well. Okay. And I talked about why that's really annoying. And it had so much engagement. My belief and my perspective posts have most engagement over anything because people will also have an opinion. Okay. And then they like to see yours, or they might disagree. That's absolutely fine. And then this is a more businessy one, like you don't need a sales page to start selling. And I know there's somebody in here who agrees with that. You can sell without one, basically. Okay. So, what is one opinion that you hold back on sharing? It might be something that really pisses you off that you keep seeing like certain people do online that you wouldn't do, or something that you really stand by and wish more people did this. Okay. But if you did like share that, it might separate you from everyone else. I want you to remember that. Okay. So is there one opinion or perspective that you're holding back on? But if you did, it could make all the difference. Really want you to think about that. And like I've just shown you, it doesn't have to be anything deep or massive. And then I really want you to ask yourself this, almost like I want you to ask yourself this every time you sit down to write content, even. Like, what does the truest, clearest, like, not give a shit what other people say or think self actually believe about X, about whatever you're writing about or talking about or your niche? Like, it can be as specific or as general as you want it to be. But what does the truest version of you actually believe? You want that to come out. Don't water it down, don't dilute it. Okay. So, perspectives and opinions, I said onions then, are quite straightforward. Okay. Now, proof and results, this obviously adds to your edge, but it is not a 25% ratio in terms of like the percentages of, and there's four parts here. Okay. And I want you to know that. So this is obviously your client wins, any results that you've had, you embodying and leading the transformation possibly that you lead your clients through. This is like rocket fuel for your edge, for your authority. But if, and I really want to say this, if you are sat there thinking, oh, but I don't have like massive client wins yet, so I can't be an authority, I can't be a client, a category of one, that is not the case. Okay, because you don't need all these wins like a trophy cabinet to be able to claim that edge. You don't. But I mean, I always go with shopping references. When you do have some results that you can start using as well, it's like you've got like gorgeous pink designer shoes to go with your outfit. Like they're not the thing that makes you magnetic, but they just add to it. They turn hands faster when you walk in the room. Okay. So it's just a piece of the puzzle, but it is important for it to be in there. That's why I would not include it. But you honestly, I have had clients sign clients when they are new in business. They've only had like, we've really dialed in their authority and the edge, and they've only had 10 posts, like from start to finish. They didn't post before, and under 100 followers. And their edge stood out enough to sign a client. So it really isn't about results because that person didn't have any. That was like her first client. So use them if you can, but don't stress if you don't have them yet. But if you do have them, and this can link to, like I just said, your transformation as well, what's one proof point that maybe you haven't owned enough? Because you're worried that if you like own like this client win or I did this, then like it's going to make you sound a certain way online, is what I used to think. But actually, when you own it, it's part of your edge. So, is there something that you can be like, yeah, do you know what? There is that from my story, or that client that I worked with then, or even like client I worked with 3 years ago. And actually, what I'm working on now, that example would work really well for me to use now. Doesn't have to be like yesterday's proof point. Anything that you have worked on adds to your edge. So have a little think about if there's anything there. Okay. Now, when you combine all four of those, you can see because each one by itself is like power. You go from sounding like just another, insert your niche, and you do become the storm. You become that category of one storm that literally is unmissable because it's coming down the road and it is going like this. Okay. Get out the way, watch out because, like, you are there and they can't miss you. That's what we need to bring together for this. Okay. So I say okay a lot. So you have a good idea of like what's needed. That's what's needed to stand out in your edge. But so that's the edge part. But what I want us to just briefly look at now is like how the confidence, the conviction, and the consistency, how we need to make all of these three work so that this edge stands out in the best possible way because you've got the confidence, you've got the conviction. You don't only show up in that way when you're having a good day and not on like a day where it's the time of the month or something, or it's a full moon and everyone's like, ah, the moon is affecting me. We do it all of the time. Okay. So confidence, this is straightforward, is owning who you are and what you've created. So when you've got this edge, you need to claim that. You need to, whether it's like visualization, I've put some great visualizations in a challenge that we got going in my mastermind this month. And it's called The Edge Daily Moves, Daily Money. And the visualizations are part of everyday activity that they're doing because it builds your confidence and your conviction when you're able to see that, yes, this is me and this is where she's going, like your future self. So owning who you are, not softening it and not playing it down. And you don't have to be loud about it. Like this is like a common myth that like to be an authority, to have the edge online, you have to be like really loud. You have to be like swearing, effing, blinding, whatever. You don't need any of that. You can be an introvert. You can be quietly confident. You just need to be unshakable in it. Okay. So it's just some examples of that. Like it's not just in how you feel, it's the confidence when you've just jumped on a discovery call and somebody said no. Okay. And it's holding your price. It's not dropping your price and then chasing them and saying, oh, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I can do this for you. Because you're not about this, you decided on that price. There might be bonuses, there might be whatever, but you decided on that price because you knew its worth and you knew your worth. So confidence in your edge and your who you are is things like holding your price. It's things like posting your bold opinions, your bold takes, possibly uncomfortable like perspectives, even if it does feel like you've gone to the very edge of your edge,
I don't
even
even
if
ask
people
for her.
unfollow you, doesn't matter.
I'm
My
trying to hold back my
mantra
tears. I've
is,
got an
oh, I've
appointment
lost some followers
in two
today.
minutes.
Not that I notice every day,
So I
but
just got
oh,
a
I've
phone
lost a
call
few followers.
from
Doesn't matter
Clyde
because they're
after
not my
phoning them
clients.
yesterday, being
People
like,
choose to
what the
unfollow
fuck's
you, they're
going
not your
on?
clients.
And the
Okay.
girl that's dealing
And
with us is
it's
called
like
Neve, and Neve works about
leading
fucking 15
anyway.
minutes
So
a
this
week
goes
because
back to
whenever
the
I'm
proof
phoning, she's
point.
fucking off.
Not waiting to
And
be
I'm like,
liked.
well, this can't be
It's
my
not
version if
until
this
you've
is the
got so many
case.
followers.
So
It's
whenever
not
Neve's not
until
there,
you've got
I'm
so many
dealt
clients
with
under your belt.
a woman called
It's
Susan.
leading like
And Susan was
the
meant to phone
one,
me back
like
yesterday and she never.
or
And
she's the
like,
one
I
affair
didn't have time to
from day
fucking
dot,
phone
from
folk
right
and
now.
ask them to do their
That's how you're going
jobs.
to get out
Do
there
you know
and
what I
lead.
mean? Like,
So there's a couple of
it's
questions I
just
want you to
pissing
think
me
about
off
when it
now.
comes
Like,
down
I've
to
not
this.
heard any new updates since either Friday or Saturday
Okay, somebody
when you were
isn't
telling
on mute.
me, actually, it was Thursday.
It
It was before
shows that
that was
everyone's on
lunch.
mute.
So almost a fucking week.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, wait, there, I can see.
about
Just got to
how
move
the
my cursor
Nigerian
over to the
people can't get
second
a second
screen.
guarantor and all that.
There we go. Can you hear me better now? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Glad that caught my eye. Okay, so where are you softening yourself right now? Okay, this is weakening your confidence. Where are you softening yourself? I want you to ask yourself that question. Okay, is it in a way that you're not showing up? Is it something to do with your offers? Is it with your pricing? Like, where are you weakening your confidence without even realizing it? And then, God, these slides are moving very slowly from one to the other. And then, ta-da, three are going to go past now, all in really quickly. I'm not sure. No, we're there. Yeah, where are you softening yourself? Okay, so now conviction. Like I said before, and lots of you felt like you've got this, which is brilliant. So knowing your work works before you've necessarily got proof. Okay, and think of this like an athlete mindset. Naturally, she trains like a champion before like the medal is there. It's not about needing the medal to train like a champion. She trains like a champion because she knows she's got this and I'm going for this. And I believe I've got the abilities to get this. She's not going to race otherwise. Okay. So that's the kind of mindset that we want you to be in. So go out there knowing you've got this. Everything you do is training yourself as an athlete. So it's all about the of course, okay? Like, of course this works. Like, of course my audience are waiting for me to say this. Of course I'm the only one my dream clients want to work with. Whether you've got 100 testimonials, 100 clients under your belt, 0, 1, 10, whatever. That is what conviction is. It is, of course. You know, when it's like, oh, I don't know what to say, you'll always have something to say now that we're dialing into your edge because you have your take on things. But it's like, if you even ever have a doubt of like, should I post this? Is this going to work? If you've got the conviction, then it's, of course I should. This works. This is going to sell. This is how I'm leading my clients. Okay. So, are there any places right now where you are waiting for proof before you move forward with something? Instead, whereas what you could be doing is holding conviction. So it could be your prices and putting your prices up. It could be like the way you're being or what you're posting or how you're posting or change you want to do. It could be your voice and what you're sharing and not sharing. So where are you waiting for that proof right now? Because I want you to start holding conviction instead, because that is all the difference. And this is a a big one. If no one was watching you right now, what would you be doing? What would you be saying? And what would you be owning? I actually want you all to, this is the one I want you to really think about. And I want you to come into the Telegram group later and put this in there. Because this is going to be a big one for you, because this is then what you need to do. if no one's watching, what would you be doing, saying, owning? Okay, because that needs to be part of your identity. Because if you would be owning it, if nobody else is watching, why aren't you doing it now? Okay. And then confidence and conviction together is what makes that edge unshakable and undeniable. What you then need is to activate this she's the one effect. We need to get it like moving. We need to get it into your work. We need to get you believing it. Okay. And this is why this piece of work that we've gone through today is why not everyone makes it to like category of one status. Okay, because most people are out there too busy proving, too busy like looking for like something else that they could do because it's working for that person over there. And because they're too busy doing all of those things, looking around instead of looking here, they're trying to like prove they belong in a sea of sameness instead of like owning that they already do and leading with that. That's the difference. So it is about really bringing together your she's the one effect, owning it and getting out there and sharing that, showing it in every single thing that you do, from a story to a spoken, something spoken to anything, basically. Now meet Lisa. She's actually here. But she didn't expect to see her face on there, did she? So Lisa, in her first 4 weeks of going through this thing with me, not exactly the same, because when you work one-to-one, we don't go like, right, we're doing this week one, and we're doing this. It's all fed in. But basically, she went from scraping 2K months to like seeing repeatedly 12K, 11K plus months. And in 2 months, she 14 times her return on investment of working with me. And part of that is because we pulled out her owning what it is that she did, why she was the one as like a leading female in her industry. And she's now like nominated. We'll find out soon if she's won 2 different industry leading awards, Woman of the Year and Leader of the Year. Like, come on, that is what the She's the One effect is all about. And because she's here, we're just going to give her a round of applause because she's amazing. Well done, Lisa. But this is what happens when you claim your status. Bless you. Okay. And it's also why, like, I have the last 2 months 100% client retention, and that's what you want as well, because it's not just about like looking for new clients all the time. It's you give the best possible experience because you've got the time, you've got the energy, you've got the skills, you know your edge to really feed that into your existing clients as well. And because it's not about having to work harder and prove yourself, you're getting to lead from your authority, whether it's out there but like to your new audience or in your world for the people who are already in it. You get to do that all of the time. And that is the goal. Because when identity shifts, when we activate your she's the one effect, income follows. It does. Okay. And this is my cheesy phrase because I am a cheesy person, but you are genuinely, and this is, although it's cheesy, it is genuine. You are your best sales strategy. So you can download all the like free masterclasses, like go to like £33 like offers with different like coaches and people on like sales strategies or this or that or the other. But none of those are going to work to their fullest effect. Oh, thanks, Margaret. None of those are going to work to their fullest effect if you haven't got the you part of it. Okay. Your she's the one effect, your category of one. There's so many things I talk through. So I have given you so much there to start working through and pulling out for your she's the one effect and what is your edge. And tomorrow we're moving on to innovation, because authority without the innovation, this is not just about creating offers. Okay. This is about how can you be more creative? How can you innovate, not just in your offers, but in the way you do things in your content, the way you show up on stories, the types of things you do in your world for your existing clients. Because when you innovate, you are going from here to here in terms of like your category of one status. You're like taking it up another notch because you're doing things differently, and that instantly has you standing out. And let me just give you like a precursor to this. When I say doing things differently, it doesn't have to be revolutionary, like, oh, an offer that has never been created ever before. It can be small things that you do that you add into that offer that are really innovative and make it different. And I'm going to be going through like a great framework tomorrow where you are going to be able to do that. Okay. So I'm really excited for that. Clap like a seal. So, but right now, I just want you to ask yourself the question: how big are you currently thinking in terms of your business? Are you thinking 2 times or are you thinking 10 times? Are you thinking like what I've got now, I just want to double that, or I just want like another client, or I just want to hit like the £3,000 a month mark or something. Whereas if you're thinking 10 times, first of all, it's actually so much easier to create 10 times moves than it is 2 times because you naturally think bigger. Okay. But innovating and your she's the one effect is what is going to skyrocket you to that 10 times thinking, but also outcomes. Okay. So I really want you to start thinking like, am I thinking big enough? Am I thinking to the end of this year, or am I thinking a year in advance of where I want to be and what I want to create and how I want to innovate? Because I want you thinking a year in advance. And then we work backwards and reverse engineer. Okay. So I did tell you there was a challenge within a challenge. Okay. So this challenge runs on a point system, and I love putting a bit of like gamification into things like this. So the challenge is, because you know this from teaching as well, implementation, you can learn anything over the sun. You can sit here for an hour, you can watch the replay, whatever it might be. But the biggest transformations happen with actions, with doing, with implementing it, everything that you've learned. Okay, so I want you, this challenge runs on you implementing some of these things. So you are going to be awarded points. It is literally a points mean prizes competition. So you are going to be awarded points for engagement in the next 3 days, for tags because you are claiming and owning this, and I'm going to explain it in a second, and the mini personal transformations and wins that you are going to experience because I really want you making the time. First place is a 60-minute strategy call with me. Second place is a 3-month seat in the Elevate membership, obviously for free. And third place is a 1-day private Telegram coaching with me. So you have me in Telegram for the whole day going back and forth. Now, for those of you here that are my clients and are in some of those or get those anyway, if you end up in first, second, and third place, because you are taking part in this as well, there will be a different prize for you of equal kind of value status, like yes, okay? So how do you win these prizes? So for 20, you can screenshot this if you want. 20 points. I want you to like share and tag me on Instagram. So it could be when you get the replay sent, you could take a screenshot of you watching the replay. If you are just doing some work on the homework that I'm going to give you in a minute, you could like share and tag that. And there is always a link to how this can work for your audience as well. So first of all, people want to work with people, whatever your niche is, that are constantly learning and leading themselves. So you can put it on that angle. There's so many things that you can do here. Okay. That's 20 points. And the more times you do it, you still stack 20 points. So if you want to share and tag me on 3 different things today, feel free. You will get 20 points for each one of them. 15 points is you're going to do your homework, proper teacher mode. So I'm going to share some homework with you in a minute. And if you do that and then share it in the Telegram group, you will get 15 points. And obviously I will feed back on that. And then if you come live to call, so all of you here have got 10 points already because you came live to the call. Okay, so we're all starting off from 10 points. Who's ready for the challenge? Me. So what is your homework for today? is called Create Your She's the One Storm Board. Okay, so think of this like a mood board or a vision board or something like that. Okay, so you can do this in any way that you want. You can like brainstorm it on paper, upload a picture. You can go into Pinterest and create a visual mood board of like your category of oneself. So you need to do some thinking on this first, all the questions that I've gone through today, but like, what makes you a category of one? What do clients always say about you? What qualities make you magnetic? Where are you might be playing small, but obviously then I want you to flip that and like, what are you going to claim? So you can can't speak. You can work through those things in your like mind, and then this brainstorm or the mood board, vision board, is going to be your category of oneself. That is what you're working towards. And you're going to also put it somewhere that you can see because you are visualizing, I'm claiming this, I'm claiming this. There might be a picture on Pinterest of somebody or a brand that like embodies what you want. This is going to be like a really fun exercise. And I love creativity as well, at the same time as getting you to dive in to these questions and actually start implementing your She's the One effect. Who's up for the homework? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so another cheesy quote. The storm is you. You are unmissable. You are unshakable. And you are a category of one. So let's put her in motion from today, my lovelies. Okay. I have absolutely loved delivering that for all of you. I'm going to drop a few bits in the Telegram group straight afterwards. But like the homework, the challenge, all of those things. But also, if you've got any questions, because I like to be interactive in these things. If you've got any questions that come up from doing this work today, pop it in the chat. I will actually set up a new topic in there, which is questions specifically, so they don't get lost. But yeah, I'm really, really it was Luana, but don't worry. I'm really, really, really looking forward to this. And I can't wait to see your homework. I can't wait to answer your questions. Absolutely love this. Replay will be out in the next couple of hours maximum. See you all live tomorrow, my lovelies. Take care. Bye, bye, bye.